I'll come from downstairs, get ready to record, or come from the bedroom and just like put on the headphones, and it's like half deaf because now there's hair, and then fucking ridiculous chick problems. Something that happened a little bit ago. An interview with Ernie Hudson.
Oh yeah,
Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I thought that was from the weekend. I thought I shared that with the group.
It was a few, like I said, a few days ago.
Oh, I thought you said a few hours ago, and I'm like,
no.
Okay, yeah. I knew you'd love that. I almost tagged you when I posted that in Slack.
Yeah, it's he did this interview, and I'm not gonna go through all the quotes or anything like that, but he says basically, he gets the story that his character got in other mediums, like in the cartoon or in comic book form, but never got in canon, in the two movies. And he said that he talked about the way the first movie was, and how he was supposed to be in it a lot more, and he wasn't, and
I've heard that story from him before, unfortunately.
Yep. And look, we all can say what we want about certain writers, directors, and how much they may or may not stand up for someone, but at the end of the day, he's got his feelings on the past, but he feels super positive about it in the going into this movie. And on that, good morning, everybody. Welcome to LR Mornings, today with Kyle and
Nick. It's always a delightful surprise when you introduce us like halfway into a conversation.
Right. What do you take on Hudson's comments, man?
Oh, I mean, like, obviously it doesn't guarantee or even prove the movie's good, but it's like, if one of the original actors feels like it does more for his character than the past two films combined. I'm not saying he has as much screen time as the old movies, but he must have some kind of arc. Like, you can't do that in like a cameo. That's an arc. So that gives me hope for seeing all of the Living Ghostbusters. They're not going to put it in the teaser trailer. Maybe the second trailer is the reveal of like that they're all in it, and they're in it maybe a third of it or something. Not as big as Paul Rudd and Finn Wolfhard, but like bigger than like a cameo or because the fact that we're going to be dealing with them finding the possessions of Egon,
yes.
his I think was Finn Wolfhard is his grandson, right? Which is like perfect casting with the hair.
Yeah.
But and then Paul Rudd's their teacher, not related to that, but it'll be interesting because I think, especially since I think the hotel, there's already a link where like the mine is named after the guy who put where the hotel was and stuff on the lines.
It's not a hotel, that's a apartment complex.
Yeah, there's some direct connection by name.
It's Central Park West, yes, I know.
So you're like, ooh, like, so maybe some of the source of it is back here. Like maybe he started researching it even at his hometown before he like met Ray and shit.
Ivan Shandor got into Gozerism, if you will, or not Gozerism. Gozer, the Gozerian, and there was another one. Anyways, even because in Harold Ramis and Danny Aykroyd's mind, Ghostbusters, the video game from 2009, is Ghostbusters 3. It was canon.
Oh, is it a sequel?
They wrote it. Yes.
I thought it was like the first movie. No, I've always I keep seeing it on sale. It's even out. No, it's
Yes,
not out on Switch, but for every other
is
system, it's always like $20, and I'm like, and it has the
It
original
is the-
voice cast, and this is the
Yes.
remaster, I think, so it's
Yes,
better graphics than the original version.
Yes.
I'm getting it. Is it good? Is it fun?
It's the Ghostbusters experience you've always wanted.
The gameplay's
I
good too.
love the game. I have played. It's not a very long campaign.
It's cheap now. I don't care how long it is.
Well, yeah, once you get used to the controls, it's a good, solid single player, one time playthrough on normal. 10 hours.
Oh, it's fine.
Not doing all sorts of like secrets. There's lots of secrets.
Yeah.
There's trophies, there's replay value,
Look,
reasons to go back and spend more time.
A small tangent that does relate to 80s movies being turned into video games that are almost canon or told to be canon. So I've never played one of those what are the games where you're mostly pointing and clicking and making decisions? But like there's a Batman
You're
one.
talking about like the Telltale
Yeah,
games?
it's a Telltale game. 100%. That's the only one I've ever played.
We used to call those point and click adventures, but I know you youngins would know only the Telltale game.
Well, I mean, The
versions.
Mist was that too. I was trying to think of the
so
company.
you do know
No, I was
a
trying to think
little.
of the company because this is literally a Telltale game. It's not just that genre.
Okay.
Back to the Future.
Uh-huh.
It's either story by or script consultant Bob Gale, who wrote the first 3 movies.
Oh.
And they have all the voice actors except for Marty because Michael J. Fox can't do it anymore. So they hired the kid, like they had auditions just to see who could sound the most like him. And it's an adventure where it feels like it feels like the 4th movie. It's an adventure where Doc has to go back to the day he to prevent himself from going to jail because he was almost arrested when he went into business with. I don't know. It has to do with. It's set in the 20s mostly, in the 40s. No, 20s because Doc's going back to when he was like Marty's age, and then it like jumps into the future because he meets the wrong woman, and then suddenly he's running in a 1984 version of I forgot what town they live in, but Back to the Future.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. Hill
Valley. Like, not like Biff's version, but like his is like very, like emotion is not allowed, take a pill all because he met the wrong girl who's like a very strict, like wacky girl instead of the girl he was supposed to meet originally. So, and then you have to go back again to the 20s again and make sure Doc meets the right girl. And it's hilarious. And then the authoritarian Doc, you're trying to take Doc with you because you're like, Doc, we got to fix this. And he's like, why would I I'm going to stop you. If you fix this, you'll destroy my timeline and this version of me. And it's not, obviously it's a point and click, but the dialogue is so good and it feels like an actual sequel. But it's way different than Ghostbusters. It's not an action game.
I can't recommend the Ghostbusters game enough for like anybody that's
I'm in.
A Ghostbusters fan. It is.
I'm gonna get when I get a gift card.
You have to zap the ghosts with the stream, with the proton stream, and there are upgrades. But you have to deplete enough energy, right?
Yeah.
And
like a Pokemon.
Right. And then you wrangle the fucker with the capture stream, and you got to bring them over to the trap, and you got to hold them while the trap pulls them in, and they try to get out. So you're fighting with your control stick to keep them, dude. You're being a Ghostbuster. And it's awesome.
Have you ever played Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah,
the original. Where like
I like those.
Yeah, is it similar to that at all? Because that has a very unique. Like one hand it's like a fixed perspective in that game, like Resident Evil.
Over the shoulder.
But you have one hand is the vacuum and one hand is you, which is very difficult to learn for like the first 30 minutes. I felt
not hard to learn at all.
Actually, you're right. I don't remember. It seems hard, but that was the first.
It's just like any.
I got that the day it came out. So
it's like any third person over the shoulder shooter, like you said, Resident Evil 4 and the 2 and 3 remakes, perfect examples. But it's just kind of cool. I will say the final quote in the interview. which was Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, which some of you guys might remember played Lex Luthor in Smallville. Right? Yeah.
Wait, what about him? Is he working on the movie too?
No. The interview happened on his podcast apparently.
Oh, because all these actors
everybody's got a podcast these days. I've got
Eddie Izzard had comic book news or something today or the other day because he I can't remember what the news was, but because he has a podcast, and it was I don't expect this news from Eddie Izzard, but okay.
Yeah.
Source Eddie Izzard.
He was asked specifically if Winston has more depth in the upcoming film, and he says, "Yep. Thanks to Jason Reitman, Winston is definitely a complete character," and that's the end of the quote. And that makes me feel a little bit more hopeful. It still upsets me because it's okay, Sony, you're advertising the movie wrong now, because that makes it sound like there is more of a handoff, that we're gonna get, like you said, at least complete arcs for the three that are still alive, and that's it. We're gonna pass it off. It's a shame that we've seen so much of the kids, but I think
it'll still be their movie mostly.
Yeah, I think what it's gonna end up being is Paul Rudd will be the responsibility, and they'll be the future of the franchise. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying all of the old Ghostbusters will necessarily die. Maybe one of them will stick around as well. But I think it's going to be mostly these kids,
or at least they're all retired by the end, because I know Paul Rudd can handle it, and his kids.
Exactly, and that's what I think is going to happen. But I'll tell you something that's funny. not that.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Insert joke there.
Paul Jammer and I talked about Paul Rudd being a good Ghostbuster, and that Randall Park. Especially after having seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. We hadn't seen WandaVision yet. So this was a couple years ago, this is 2018. Yeah. And after our 2018-19, whenever Rudd was announced, and we were thinking if we're gonna build a couple of adults and then a couple kids, who would you pair Rudd with? And we were trying to think, and we thought Park because of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and he thought Park because of another movie as well. And I was just yeah, that's great. And now you look at WandaVision, and you're I want to see this guy do some supernatural detective busting work, ghost busting, X-Files, whatever, I want this show to happen.
Yeah, that was actually it mostly blew up from a tweet by @Stephen. Stephen Ford's his real name. I follow him. Him follows me. I came this close to. He used to want to be on the show to get interviewed, but he got huge recently. I didn't know his history before I met him. I mean, I didn't know his history until months after I met him. Most people follow him because he used to be on used to be a teen heartthrob on Teen Wolf, and some ripoff of the Power Rangers, and Bratz, the live action movie. But I wanted to interview him because he does the most amazing. Back when the Modern Warfare remake came out, not the better graphics, but the remake. So what was that? 2019? Yeah, that was 2019. 2020 was Cold War. He makes these great videos called Modern War Dudes, and they were hilarious to anyone who played the game, and I was pretty obsessed with the games. They were just sketches with his friends and stuff, and I became a fan because of that, and he follows me, and we've talked, and now he's too big because he made that a short film called 2020, a 1917 parody, and it's really good. It's 20 minutes long, and it's really good, and it's gotten 3 million views, and he's gotten millions of fans and stuff. And then he tweeted that, his original tweet is the one most articles are referencing. He tweeted something, and then he has a bunch of followers on Twitter, but not as many. He got like 60,000 retweets or something, and then other sites started picking it up, just like, hey, this guy suggested this, and then because then other people who are other famous people, as it got bigger, like a famous writer was like, I'll do it for free. A famous Asian screenwriter, I don't even know who it is, and then it got back to Randall Park, but. Yeah, they didn't source the guy, but like there's a whole bunch of people who are like, I will do that shit for free. And then the guy who came up with the idea, I mean, we could have had that idea. Obviously, you did. He's like, I just want to have like a riot, like have a cameo or be executive producer. I don't actually want to do it myself. But I mean, those guys would never get that in that exact project. Yeah. But there is a Jimmy Woo comic right now. It's like him and like almost like an Avengers type team, I think. Like a sci-fi team. But yeah, way to be on that. Yeah. Because I wanted to ask you then, remember when Ghostbusters was basically going to be a Judd Apatow crew film? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that Paul Rudd fits in that group, actually, really. So he actually made it through. Yeah,
I didn't support the Apatow crew at all.
I would have liked that better than what we got, I guess, last time. But... and that was supposed to be a handoff movie where we were supposed to have the old Ghostbusters because it would have been 10 years younger, 20 years younger at this point.
Yeah.
And they would have had a lot of screen time.
You can check with Brian.
Like it wasn't a reboot.
Yeah. You can check with Brian on this. I believe you. Went out to double check with your best friend. Well, it's for the audience. Every bit as much against the Apatow crew, the Rogan version of Ghostbusters as I became against the 2016 film. Because again, I looked at it and I said those guys don't do Ghostbusters humor. They're not Ghostbusters. And when I saw the trailer for the 2016 one, I said,
basically a female version of that.
That's not Ghostbusters. Yeah. That's not what Ghostbusters is. You guys failed to make a Ghostbusters movie.
Paul Feig's team.
Yes,
he's one of like the Apatow like same
underling.
Yeah, underling exactly. But like who famous enough, I think that
Apatow
he's like
himself
co-creator on Freaks
Smith
and Geeks.
Underling.
What?
I said Apatow himself is a Smith underling, like an inspired by.
Yeah, but I was going to say because they literally work together. But yeah, I get what you said. An underling, like I think Paul Feig or whatever, I think he, as far back as him and Apatow, I think they were at the same level. I think they co-created Freaks and Geeks or even like he was even maybe the main director of it.
Something like that.
Or undeclared. But no, I can tell you why it didn't happen. A fact I learned last week.
What's that?
Well, Harold Ramis was going to write and possibly direct, not Ivan. But the movie Harold Ramis did right before that used one of the stars they were considering, Michael Cera. And that movie was called Year One, and it was panned, and no one saw it, so it made no money. And I never gave Ramis another chance to direct a film, though he died shortly after, but it killed that whole idea. Because I think it would have been like, Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, Michael Cera, and maybe a Paul Rudd or something. Yeah,
not the crew I would have picked at all. I think today what I would have done, Kyle's Ghostbusters. Like if I'm gonna really try to capture lightning in a bottle twice with a twist, a successful twist, my pitch would have been, yes, a descendant, still a grandchild, would have went older than fucking middle school, but
early 20s.
Yeah.
Even in college studying.
In college.
Yes.
Exactly. Grandchild in college.
I got it. Bill Murray's grandchild in college doing a student study where he's torturing two other students. Living up to his namesake.
Yeah, but regardless of how you split it up, you have one grandchild in college who makes a friend, right? boom, there's your 20-somethings. And then you have at least one professor, your Paul Rudd teacher character, and an additional adult, whether it's an additional professor, a coach, a whatever you want to do, but an additional adult, right? And that's how you hand it off, because you got to have that transition. The two adult, the let's say the 40-somethings grew up with the Ghostbusters. They know like that era. They know the exactly. And
I love that part about his character. He's a fanboy.
Yeah, and that's how I would have done it. And then you have the original guys, working with the new guys and then handing it off. And now you've got this great potential to have this first movie with the two older, two younger, and then a second movie with the two younger, two older. But you can phase those two older out and have all four younger people going forward into a third movie. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's 1,000 ways to do it better than what fucking Pascal and Feig fucking came up with.
I want to give you my dream team based on who I'd cast today if they were going to do 40-somethings in a minute. But before that, I wanted to say that no, I don't even remember what I was going to say. It had something to do... I don't know. I forgot. I'm sorry. Oh, I know what it was. So, would you... it still bothers me. Even though I guess now it's something to be thankful for, because we don't want it to be part of continuity. But I was like, why not make that a sequel of some sort? Like, it could, because it would work the same way as like Men in Black, which it was terrible, but Men in Black 4 could have worked. Like
the international thing,
yeah, where it's like, oh, they love the Ghostbusters so much, no one's done it in forever. They're like, let's open up ourselves a franchise, and like, and then you can, instead of having the Ghostbusters cameo as different people, they could have Bill Murray and Aykroyd and stuff actually cameo as the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Even if it's small, and they're like, fine. Like, that's all the scene needs to be. It would have been funny even. They're all just, like, living together and, like, cranky old men. And there's a scene where they go to them. And they're like, can we franchise you guys? And Bill Murray's like, what the yeah, give me, like, this much fucking money. And they do it. And then it was like, those stupid women. Not because because in this case, they'd be women. And then you have a scene later doing a finale where they're watching it on TV. And they're like, the younger people just don't fucking get it. There's how you make a better version of that bad movie. But I want to give you my 40-year-olds.
Sure,
I would cast. I don't actually have a solid list, but I'm gonna try to come up with it as I go. You keep Rudd, obviously. I had some ideas. Oscar Isaac.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just picking some of my favorite actors that are about the right age and have lots of range. No Oscar Isaac. Pedro Pascal, after doing Wonder Woman. He's the good part of that movie. He can do comedy and he can do drama.
I could see that.
That gives you a little bit of diversity. John David Washington.
Okay.
From Tenet, and he proved his comedy chops. He's hilarious in Black Klansman. And then... instead of coming up with my own, I will go Randall Park also, because that not only gives you hilarity, it gives you really even better diversity than it's 4 different races.
But now you're sexist, pig, because you chose all males, you bastard.
Nah,
you take your chauvinism out of here.
Fine, if I had to flip
one
one out,
all the leftist clubs, you're no longer allowed to do anything but vote Trump.
Who's my favorite? Who's my favorite female comedian? I would switch out Amy Poehler and Tina Fey can be on the team, and you get rid of Randall Park, and it's a 5-person team. Because why can't you add an extra Ghostbuster?
I don't think she would ever do it, but do you know who is the only female comedian I would trust to get the humor? Eliza Schlesinger.
Who?
1000%. If you guys have not watched
who is she?
Eliza,
she's from 24, right?
Huh?
24 chick?
24 chick?
No, then.
No. If you guys have not watched Eliza, go watch her. She's our age. She's a mid-80s born millennial. You know, she's in her 30s.
She's not in her 40s like the rest
of
the
40s. Type stand-up comedian. But she, because here's one of the problems. Like, I like dick and fart jokes. Dick and fart jokes are great. I love Kevin Smith films, so obviously dick and fart jokes are awesome. However, I need variety, right? You don't always want dick and fart jokes. Sometimes you want clean family fun humor, so you catch Sonic the Hedgehog. Sometimes you want clever humor, so you watch Ghostbusters, which does have a great, dick joke in it, but it's mostly
the first movie is that, like we said before, so higher, dirty in one scene, dirty.
But it's such a higher class.
No, it is
dirty comedy.
It is, but it is like compared to the rest of the film, it's so dirty. Yeah. I actually have a better idea.
What I was gonna try to get at was simply that they didn't get it. They didn't understand it. They didn't try to get it. They didn't try to understand it. They threw out everything that made Ghostbusters, except for the fucking name, and that's why it sucked.
Real quick, Donald Glover, he would also be a candidate for my Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
But I want to say something about the Women Ghostbusters movie. It's kind of like the way you talk about Solo, only I'm going to go farther than that. Because you're like, Solo's a better movie that's not a Star Wars movie. Like, it's a lot of people have said that. It's like, it would be a better movie if it wasn't Star Wars. Because it's not Han Solo. But that's,
yeah.
So maybe you haven't said it. A lot of people I know have said, I enjoy it a lot, but not as a Star Wars movie. Like, I would say that about Batman Returns.
I can't say I enjoyed it, but I could see where it would be a better film.
Yeah,
without being attached to the Star Wars IP.
I watch Batman Returns, and I think this is one of the worst Batman movies ever, but it's one of the best Tim Burton movies, and how does that work when I actually like the first one? So in that same way, like, as a non-Ghostbusters film, I like the 2016 Ghostbusters for two reasons. I think the one who's still on SNL and like is gay, so she plays like the ambiguously gay character. God, she's like my favorite. She's like one of the funniest people in the world.
Oh, remember?
I'm spacing her name. That's terrible. But she played like the nerd. She played like the Egon on the team, who like was like lying. I don't know. Had like the science, developed all the equipment.
I know which one you're talking
and then,
about.
And Chris Hemsworth. Chick. Chris Hemsworth has never been funnier, not even in Thor Ragnarok in that movie, because they just made him as stupid as possible and let him go with it. Like when he covers his eyes instead of his ears after he hits the gong, or even the scene where he's revealing, like he's there interviewing and he like rubs his eye through his glasses, and they're like, "Are you not wearing lenses in those glasses?" He's like, "No, but they help me see though."
Funny.
I don't know. I think those are the two funniest performances that year, even over comedies.
Christine watched it and was just in shock and didn't laugh once. I think there was one joke. I don't remember where. One time I actually laughed. I went, huh. And that was it. And the rest of the time we literally watched this movie in horror and we're like, none of this is funny. Because
it just didn't
what
matter
the point I was trying to get at was that a lot of times female comics go overboard to get the attention because they don't get the attention for doing other types of comedy. You think of your Liza Minnelli's and stuff like, or not Liza Minnelli.
She old.
Shit. What is that?
What is she in?
Real
I can get
dirty female comedian.
There are lots of dirty comedians.
Hold on.
Sarah Silverman?
Stop. No, hold on.
I'm trying to help you.
I'm trying to type in so I can
I know, I'm making
Google
it worse. I'm also entertaining the audience.
And Lisa Lampanelli. There
oh,
it is.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
Is she still around? I haven't seen her in like 10 years at like some Comedy Central roast.
Right. And you have your Lisa Lampanellis, and every generation should have 10 Lisa Lampanellis, or however many the market wants. But when you don't vary the comedic style up, it becomes too much. And in the 2016, it was literally 4 women all doing the same comedy bit. The only difference was whether or not their character had a degree or was overweight. All of the comedy was the same. All of it was built off the same gags, built off the same everything, and it oversaturated it completely, made it boring as all hell, and completely unfunny because it wasn't varied. You didn't have the overzealous, joyous exuberance of Ray versus the I collect spores, molds, and fungus
saying.
of Egon versus the sarcastic asshole of Venkman, and then your blue collar guy because we need it because we're so busy in Winston, which they did great in things like the game and the comic books, but yes, he did get gypped in the movies.
And it was even worse when the female movie did it, because it was like, I just work at the Metro, and now I get to be a ghost.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you saying about? Like,
so,
no, I get what you're saying. I just think I went in with really low expectations because it's very rare you see a good sequel to a movie or a good reboot to a movie that's that old and that good. Like, I don't even like Ghostbusters 2. So I went in being like, well, the last Ghostbusters movie sucked, and this is a delayed sequel. This will probably suck, so let's just enjoy it for what it is. And it's a non-Ghostbusters movie with 2 hilarious performances and other capable comedians, even if they're not the main characters, like the guy from The Office who shows off the house in like the opening. It's like, they're just funny parts.
Right. To bring it all back to Eliza Schlesinger, like I was trying to, and I hope I'm saying her name right. She blends.
So has she been in anything?
She's a stand-up comic.
Just stand-up?
Comedian. That's okay. It as far as I know. That's why I said I don't think she would do Ghostbusters. But if I was to pick a female comedian to do it, it would be her. And before you got me on all these tangents, to wrap it all up, she masterfully blends sexual comedy in the same way that Ghostbusters does. She is able to be highbrow with a bathroom humor situation in a clever way, and she fits that bill. She could do it in any format. She could be the Venkman, she could be the Ray, she could be the Egon, because she's capable of all of that type of humor. She does not pigeonhole herself at all. She does good, clean jokes to where she could put together a show for, say, a USO, like troops and families. She's got plenty of adult, oriented humor that is as dirty as it gets, but it's the delivery system is more in line with what Ghostbusters are.
I think I want to bring up a trio that's done 2 movies. One's a sequel. This is actually my new pick, even though it's not culturally diverse. I'll throw in John David Washington with them to keep the aspect ratio. The horrible bosses guys, like Jason Bateman, Charlie Day, and Jason Sudeikis.
I like Bateman and Sudeikis. They're pretty decent.
I think because in that movie, it isn't like, I would say, I love the Seth Rogen movies and stuff. I would say all of like that. Your complaint is valid for all those movies almost, where it's like they're all making the same jokes. It's like it's an R-rated movie and Jonah Hill is ad-libbing. You're just throwing the word vagina into sentences. Like you're not. You're making it funner by just throwing in an extra curse word. It's not necessarily a cleverly written joke. Whereas you look at a movie like another Jason Bateman movie like Game Night, and then you look at like Horrible Bosses and how the way like those characters are very different and have even different senses of humor. You know, there's a sexy guy who's too cocky. There's Charlie who's being raped by his boss who's a woman. And then there's, Jason Bateman's always the everyman, but he has like the worst problem. So like that's a pretty good. It's never, obviously we're discussing futures that won't happen because of this, but hopefully this is good, right?
Yeah. I still and your approach that you want to take with Ghostbusters is fine because that's what I think this movie will likely be, which is it'll be a good movie. It just won't be a Ghostbusters movie. But even if I tried to approach the 2016 one with no attachment to the previous franchise, it's still an oversaturation of one specific gag, and it just gets
Kate McKinnon
to where there you go.
That's you knew I was talking about too. I wasn't just throwing it out there. No, I get what you're saying, but I'm more accepting of. This is something we talk about on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. I'm Nick Dahl. There's an effect called the Nick Dahl bump that we coined. Nick Dahl, you grade a movie, and Nick Dahl will add 2 to 5 stars to your grade out of 10. Like it's just, I enjoy the fuck out of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, which I will admit is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But I love it. Fallen Kingdom. I'm not talking the first one.
I know.
You liked it too? Kingdom. Oh man, now you're my best friend.
I thought it was fine.
But
what it was.
I'm like, yeah, Super Troopers 2 is great. Like this is great. There's some stuff I hate with venomous like attack, but it's also why I like Solo. It's like I knew it's not going to be Han Solo. I just knew it's going to be a funny Star Wars movie like A New Hope. And it's always going to be Disney. It's never going to be that original shit. So that's why I kind of go into every movie. I'm like, just enjoy it. Except for I cannot stand movies like Venom and Suicide Squad that are that bad. That being said, I own both those movies. And I've watched Suicide Squad about 10 times. And I haven't rewatched Venom. But those movies are offensively bad to a point that I hate everyone involved. Like even Tom Hardy. I'm like, how could you fuck up Eddie Brock this hard? See, so normally I'm adding a score. So normally, like, I like all the Star Wars except for the one everyone hates, Rise of Skywalker. No, that's not even true. That was a bad metaphor because you know how much I hate the prequels.
No, God,
just as much as you, if not more.
No one hates them more than I do because I have to deal with the hypocrites that all of a sudden, because they hate
George Lucas
Last Jedi more, that all of a sudden the prequels are fucking gold, and they're like, but what about ObiWan versus Anakin on Mustafar? All I can see is that EDM robot chicken gag about
I have seen
lightsabers and glows. He's got the glow stick because that's what that fucking duel is. It's a fucking EDM dance. It's not even a duel. They literally at one point are spinning the lightsabers side to side, not making any moves towards each other. And then there's scenes where Lucas literally, all I'm going to do is I'm going to wave a blue light in front of your face, and I want you to look real mean. And that's the scene. You literally look at Anakin staring straight at the camera, and it's just a blue light going this way, and he's looking mean. And then they do it with Obi-Wan looking a little less mean, where he's like, and I'm like, how do you guys, compare it to episode 4 and 5, sure, it looks cool, but compare it to episode 1, Lucas really did a great job with who he picked for choreography and all that with episode 1. But the idea that all Jedi all of a sudden twirl, spit, all that stupid shit for no... Look, I'll take disappearing fucking daggers because the choreographer and the Viz effects guys both fucked up. I'll take disappearing dagger over in the last Jedi in the throne room, the red room.
I know what you're talking about during the fight.
Disappearing.
Yeah,
I'll take a mistake that fucking terrible in editing, so long as the fucking choreography is better than the fucking blue flashing light bullshit. So, and with that, I'm gonna say thank you guys so much for listening to us today. Remember, LR Mornings is going to be expanding. We're going to be doing some segments. I need some ideas for some segments.
I was waiting for today's.
Think what we should do. What's that?
I was waiting for today's.
Yeah, I don't have one yet. So, but let us know some segments, games, things that you guys would like to see. We're going to be transitioning to a new name, some new graphics, and a live episode tomorrow, Thursday. So yeah, make sure you guys are following us at LRM_exclusive on Twitter. Excuse me, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, where we will be broadcasting live too, on YouTube, and then of course the audio go up in podcast format as always. We're gonna try to bring you guys some live content as often as you will consume it. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Nick, where can people find you at?
I've got 2 pitches for themes, not segments.
What's that?
Wednesday can be Wacky Wednesday, and we can just wear funny hats, and no one can see it. And
no
Thursday can be Thirsty Thursday, where you guys have to drink a shot of alcohol, even though you're recording it in the morning after every sentence.
Oh God!
Or every time Sony or Amy Pascal is mentioned. Let's do it. Let's play it that way. All right. I am at Geeky Nick Doll on Twitter. I love to be on this show a lot. Kyle and I together do Marvel Multiverse Mondays, and we're talking WandaVision these days. And I'm on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, which comes out usually on Friday, but we're kind of being more flexible with recording so that we can get all 4 sausages to our sausage party, because Jammer has a fucking job these days. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be writing for the site 10 articles a week.
Welcome back to the family, Nick Doll.
Thank you. Articles are
really
so much more easy than columns. That's why I came back.
So, all right, guys. Yeah. Check it out. All those podcasts he mentioned, as well as Animeversal reviews, No Mercy, the Cantina reviews, lots of great stuff. Like I said, go subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast channel, wherever you get your podcasts from. You guys find me at that Kyle damn it. See, I had... Find me at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, and at that one Kyle Malone. That's the number 1. At that one Kyle Malone on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.